Welcome to FFT and 5. I'm Chris Towers here with Heath Cummings. And as we always do on Tuesday, if you're watching on YouTube, Wednesday, if you're listening to the podcast, let's talk Dynasty. Heath's Dynasty show on Fantasy Football Today's YouTube channel happens every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Make sure you tune into that. Make sure you subscribe to the FFT newsletter where Heath's doing some Dynasty content every Friday. And Heath, the NFL draft is in 2 weeks. We've been doing a lot of prospect breakdowns with Emery Hunt. There's a bunch of prospect breakdowns on cbssports.com/fantasy and getting ready for the NFL draft. It's not just the prospects that matter. It's the guys who are actually on NFL teams who are going to be impacted by the prospects. We're going to go position by position, talk about players with just a lot at stake for the upcoming NFL draft. And we'll start at the quarterback position. Who do you think has the most at stake heading into the NFL draft?
Everybody who might get replaced. I think is the easiest way to look at it. And that is a questionable list. We don't worry about really anyone getting replaced in Carolina or Houston. Yeah. But it's possible Jared Goff could see a rookie drafted there. It's possible the Seahawks have been very open that the Geno Smith contract will not preclude them from drafting a quarterback high. A guy like Desmond Ridder, who's young enough that you could maybe see a 5-year future as a starter. But he might not even get a chance if someone like Anthony Richardson falls to the Falcons. So, yeah, those guys who could get replaced. I guess if I was looking for one other guy who could win, maybe it's Jordan Love, and it would be hilarious. But if the Packers actually took JSN in the first round and went and got Jordan Love, a first-round wide receiver to go along with Christian Watson, then that would be pretty good for his value.
How about the running back position? This is one where opportunity matters a lot, and guys who currently have a clear path to a starting role could see their value take a big hit with the NFL draft. Who comes to mind there?
Yeah, and I think, because I'm not ranking a lot of these guys in dynasties as if they're necessarily going to be the guy. Mm-hmm. So I think there's a lot of young backs, a lot of them were rookies last year. Rashad White, Isaiah Pacheco, Tyler Algier. Tony Pollard, is he going to have to share this year with a feature running back? And Brian Robinson in Washington. He and Antonio Gibson both. But it's interesting because usually it's guys who are, I think, coming towards the end that have to worry about getting replaced. And we've got a lot of day 2, day 3 running backs from last year who are currently slotted into starting roles. And I think more often than not, those guys lose their jobs. So
I'm looking at your rankings here. I see you've got Dameon Pierce as your number 9 dynasty running back. He's 23 years old, coming off I thought a very good rookie season, but sort of held back by the offense that he played in, by the fact that he wasn't like a huge pass catching guy. Is he someone you think the Texans could make another addition there? They did already add Devin Singletary. I don't know what kind of role we expect from him. Do you think that's another place they could make an addition?
This is me going against one of my rules with late draft pick rookies and having great rookie years, and you're supposed to just sell these guys and take the profit. His number 9 ranking has more to do with the fact that I don't know who I like enough to put ahead of him.
Sure.
Like Javonte Williams is right behind him. I don't know how much football he's going to play this year. Then you got a couple 28-year-old, 27, 29-year-old running backs and Nick Chubb and Derrick Henry. So I'm still a little bit worried about it, but the Singletary signing actually, I think, for long-term made me feel better because I don't think they're probably going to add Devin Singletary and spend an early pick on a running back when they already have Dameon Pierce.
What about someone like Najee Harris? I think that's one that a lot of fantasy players think should be replaced, but do you expect the Steelers to actually do it?
No, because I think if they want to do it, they like Jaylen Warren enough, they just let him do it.
All right, let's move on to the wide receiver position where, opportunity is less clear-cut at wide receiver. I think talent matters a little more in terms of projecting forward for fantasy. But are there any wide receivers you can think of whose value could either be benefited or harmed by the NFL draft?
I think Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney.
Sure.
Just because right now they look like the clear winners of the offseason. They're going to be the number 1 and number 2 wide receivers for Patrick Mahomes, and they're so young and they're so exciting. Good draft pedigree, but the Chiefs take a wide receiver in round 1, and who knows who will be the number 1 there in Kansas City.
Yeah, both those guys, I think we like the talent. We don't like the fact that neither could really get on the field last year. And an offense that did have Juju Smith-Schuster, but I don't think we think Juju Smith-Schuster's a superstar. So the fact that Juju Smith-Schuster was a roadblock for Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney, it does make me pretty skeptical of those guys. And I do wonder whether any wide receivers are really going to matter enough for fantasy to be worth chasing in Kansas City's offense. Although Travis Kelce's 34, so the end's coming at some point, right?
That's right.
Yeah, you've got Kadarius Toney as your number 39 wide receiver in Dynasty. In your most recent update, Sky Moore number 30. I could see that flip-flopping. I don't really have a preference there. In redraft, I'm probably staying away from them. There's always going to be someone who likes them more, but it's interesting to chase them for Dynasty. And that's going to do it for our Dynasty FFT in 5. We'll see you tomorrow.